Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the July 12th, 2023 City Revere Conservation Commission meeting. For those that would like to, let's stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll do roll call. Robert Cassidy.
Yes.
Joseph LaValle.
Here.
Samantha Woodman.
Here.
Brian Everback.
Here.
John Shoes here. And Nicholas Rudolph is not here. So we do have a quorum. Can you flip to my screen? So we'll just kind of go over the agenda. We'll be reviewing minutes from May and June. We neglected to do that at the last meeting. We have a continuation notice of intent for 18 Neponset Street. The request for determination of applicability for Macklin Park, the legal notice did not get placed in time, so we will schedule that when that notice goes in. We'll have a notice of intent we're reviewing for North Shore Road from the City of Revere. We have a request for an extension of an order of conditions for a cable replacement job from Mass Electric Company. And then we have a series of requests for certificates of compliance for Suffolk Downs, the development going on there. I've requested, and the applicants agreed, we are not going to consider the last four. We will do that at the next meeting. We will consider the first three, though. Can you turn up my volume for the audience? Yeah, you might have to move forward. Yeah, it's not a church. You can come. You can sit close.
You guys control the in-house audience. You just gotta get that mic closer.
Okay. All right. Is that better? All right. We have some enforcement letters that went out we're going to review. That's about it for tonight. So first up is review and approval of the meeting minutes from May 3rd, 2023. Did anyone have any corrections, deletions, additions?
Looks good.
All right, hearing none, can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Second it.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. And same thing for the June 5th meeting minutes. Any additions, deletions, corrections?
Looks good.
All right, hearing none, entertain a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
Motion.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. So first up is 18 Neponset Street. It's a continuation of a notice of intent for the construction of a single-family home in land subject to coastal storm flowage, DEP file number 061-802. So the commission has met on site several weeks ago. This is just kind of a follow-up from that visit and I guess a meeting with site plan review at the city. So if you state your name and address.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, fellow members. For the record, my name is Peter Blaisdell. I'm the project engineer and surveyor for the 18 Neponset Street project. Yes, correct. This is a continuation from the June 7th public hearing. I wasn't able to attend that night, but Thor from our meeting, from our office was able to attend, and I believe you met with him out in the field. Sorry about the timing. We actually did go to site plan review on the 13th. We discussed a few things with Frank Stringy and the members. Nothing major added. We did decide to change the driveway to permeable pavers just to cut down on the amount of impervious area. We did move the parking back a little bit, just as you know, Revere sometimes does not allow parking in the front yard in certain districts, so that was moved back. Mr. Stringy asked if we could add a couple of 2.5-inch caliper trees to the front. The grading there's no diversion onto properties. It's essentially going to be built at grade. The deck was reduced somewhat inside, just to make sure that it complied with zoning. The address was given finally a number 18 by Nick Rystrom. And then just the zone line, which runs right down the middle of the property. Other than that, Mr. Stringy had no problems with, when the time comes to file for a building permit, final building permits that show flood-proof construction, as well as digging a test pit possibly in the middle to see if a dry well could be put in based on the soils and the groundwater. There was one other question, I think, about that might have come from the commission about possible sidewalks, and they determined that it was not necessary here, that there aren't any sidewalks at all. That being said, we don't have anything else to add, so if you have any questions, please feel free to fire away.
All right. Any questions from the commissioners?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I had a question. So I was looking over some of the Mass DEP notes and just wondering if you had looked at the neighboring lots, any of the like reflection or refraction of like water flow into those lots, because I know that was a major concern.
So I got to tell you, I've been doing permitting here in Revere since I was 25 years old. I've never seen that comment. I'm 54 now, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
I called Libby Sabujan to ask her why she even thought that would be necessary, since we're not in a velocity zone. There's no waves hitting this. There's no, any water that, flood water that reaches this is going to come not from the ocean side. It's going to come from the back and will come up rather slowly. There's really no wave or refraction to calculate, as if you were designing a seawall or that type of thing. So I asked Frank about that comment too. He said, same thing. I mean, I've done homes up and down Revere, and that's never been a comment that I don't think it's applicable.
Okay.
Nor do I think she's going to make any issue of it, because we told her that, we didn't think it applied. So to answer your question, no, we didn't look at it only because we didn't think it was applicable here.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the commissioners? So I have a couple comments on the trees. We're going to condition those to be indigenous. So you pick, there's state of Massachusetts has a list on DEP. I think you're picking pear trees and they're not.
Well, Frank Stringy, I'm pretty sure has a Chanticleer pear tree farm someplace, because that's like his favorite tree.
Yeah.
But whatever you want, you want a maple, you want
We'll let you pick, they just need to be indigenous.
whatever you want.
Because I've been on them about the pear trees. I know you're going to test for a dry well. If that fails, we would probably going to add a condition to add some type of a rain garden feature, that we're just to kind of capture water, surface water on the top.
You can, yeah, absolutely.
So, and then we also would add a condition prior to the start of construction, you will need to submit the foundation design showing the openings, the calculations for the sizes of the openings.
Yeah,
that
that's
type
a
of
condition
thing.
that we said,
Yeah.
we told Lou Cavanaro and Frank the same thing.
Yeah.
We'd
Yeah.
copy the commission on it. I'm not sure if this gentleman's gonna build this, or he's gonna, someone else is gonna build it. We just
Right.
wanna make sure it gets done properly, so.
Yep. So one of the concerns I have is assuming, and we still need to get more input from the public,
Absolutely.
but assuming an order is approved, how do we ensure it gets recorded?
How do we make sure it gets recorded? That's actually a really good question. I don't know. Because it's very hard to
Yeah.
enforce. However,
Yeah.
we have been trying to make sure that our clients stay on top of these things. Although I will be honest, we've had a couple clients that they said, oh, I didn't record it. However, I will tell you that even if they didn't record it last year, it's now becoming a problem when they want to do something, and now they're going to the registry to
Right,
get it
and-
recorded.
and-
So we try to make sure, out of the hundreds that we do, I'd say in the last year or two, only a handful.
So I've been adding a cover letter in, highlighting that requirement. Now, I do know the city won't issue a building permit without a copy of a recorded order.
Yeah, that's
So,
a great inspiration to go get it
yeah.
recorded, so.
Okay. I'm going to ask if there's anyone in the audience that has any comment on this project, for or for against. All right, hearing none. Any last questions, opportunities? All right, then I'm would entertain a motion to go ahead and close the hearing.
Make a motion.
Need a second?
Second that?
All right, all in favor of closing the hearing?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing's closed. All right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Any discussion? Concerns with the project?
I just think you covered it with the order of conditions needing those flowage rates and the foundation.
Okay. Then entertain a motion to approve the notice of intent and issue an order of conditions, adding those things that we talked about and covering what they've already added.
Motion.
Make the motion.
All right, need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so, mailing it, I'm gonna mail it to the applicant's address, or do you want it mailed to you? Okay. Okay. All right, next up is a notice of intent, DEP file number, well, there's two file numbers now for the DEP on this project for North Shore Road, from the city of Revere to apply herbicides to eradicate Phragmites. Is there someone here representing the city of Revere or the, so you're, right. So if there's no one here as an applicant, then we are not going to open the hearing, and we won't make any determination on this tonight. So keep checking the agenda. If it comes back up, they'll have to, because we did not open the hearing, they'll have to redo the notification to abutters. Okay? So, all right. Sorry, no one came. All right, moving on.
What was the intent of trying to find out? Anthony Pazziali, 51 Arcadia Street. What was the intent to try to see if it was under the Wildlife Protection Act?
The Wetlands
Yeah.
Protection Act.
Yeah, I'm sorry, whatever, I
For-
apologize.
For putting spraying herbicides on a salt marsh?
No, I didn't know if someone was trying to build there, that's why I was asking.
No. Alls it is trying to eradicate Phragmites and improve the salt marsh and improve drainage in that salt marsh and to improve wildlife habitat. There is no building going on there. Sure, come on up, state your name. Yeah,
Wayne Rose, 19 Thorndike Street. If this is just marshland, are we looking at what's there now, kind of? Or will there be some conditions of improvement to that area there?
so alls I know, and there'll be more discussion when we open a formal hearing,
Okay.
alls they want to do in that marsh area, because it's full of Phragmites, and the Phragmites chokes out native salt marsh grasses. It's not very good habitat. It's a fire hazard. It impedes the flow of water through the salt marsh, which is important to the drainage of the city of Revere. All they want to do is eradicate the Phragmites. Phragmites are an invasive species.
I get that. Yeah.
But because it's a salt marsh, because it's in an area of critical environmental concern, because it's in an area with an outstanding water resource, there's a lot to it,
Okay,
so.
all right,
All right.
thank you.
But if you're asking about development,
No development.
no one
even-
said anything on that.
Even if they eradicate the Phragmites, are we going to be looking at reeds everywhere there, down in that hole?
So if you look at some other projects that they have done, the salt marsh grass has come back.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. Next up is a request for an extension. Actually, I'm going to change the agenda a little bit. Since none of these people are here, we can go to people in the audience that are here and take care of them so they can go home if they want. So we're going to move to the enforcement section of the agenda. So we received a complaint about paving at 59 Ellerton without a valid order of conditions. There wasn't a building permit pulled. It's land subject to coastal storm flowage. It's also on a coastal dune barrier beach. There's almost 8 inches of asphalt that's been added, and it goes a long ways back. So we sent out a notice of potential violation to the homeowners, and I also sent out a notice to the construction company. I don't think anyone here from Mario's brother is here, but the homeowners are here. What I would suggest is, I'm going to say what I thought happened, and then if it's different, then you can come up and correct me. But basically, the homeowner thought the contractor's responsible for pulling permits. The contractor didn't. The contractor went ahead and did the work. Ultimately, the homeowner is responsible, but contractors should be checking to make sure permits are in place first. And it's kind of taking advantage, I think, of homeowners. That's just me. I get that right? Come on. Yeah, state your name and turn the mic on.
I talked to the guy like 2 weeks before he started to work, and I asked to him if he can do something in the city hall first. And he told me, no, for this kind of job, you don't have to do nothing because I don't have to move nothing electricity, nothing, ¿cómo se llamaría? That's what he told me. I say,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So just asphalt permits are required in the city. And if you're near wetlands or in the floodplain, then there's also a requirement to come before the Conservation Commission. So my suggestion is going to be, I'm going to send them a list of consultants. They can pick one or they can pick their own and work with the consultant to come up with a solution to maybe something can be added like what we've done on some other ones. How this can be fixed without ripping the whole thing out, because we probably would have permitted it if it had a couple of other things like a drip edge, wasn't so high, that type of thing. So if you guys are in agreement with that approach, I will send an email and then have them work on that. And we'll probably pick this back up in a couple of months. Is that okay?
Mr. Chairman, point of information.
Sure.
Could you tell me what was on the property prior to the asphalt being added?
yeah, like gravel.
Gravel?
The old owner got gravel like because in the backyard they got 3 dogs. Oh, sorry. And the backyard he got like gravel because he got 3 dogs like this one. That's why he don't fix. That's why he told me that. So when we buy the house, we wanna look better, nice. That's why we try to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I will send you a list. You can use that or not, or find your own. And then possibly at the September meeting, prior to the September meeting, I'll contact you to see if you have, or you can send me something, a potential solution that we can discuss and make some more suggestions, okay?
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
All right. We'll just finish out enforcements. Thank you. You guys can go, but thank you, or you can stay. I'm gonna give this one to you, Brian, since you live over there. But I sent out a notice of potential violation to 50 Broad Sound. They're building a single-family home right there.
Yeah, very familiar.
I was walking through the neighborhood, investigating another complaint, and the sedimentation barriers are not in good repair. They're down. It looks like sediment was leaving the property. The property there's lots of trash. If I kind of lived in the neighborhood, I'd be a little upset with how it looks. And I sent them this. I haven't heard anything from them, but we just need to go by, see how it looks. And then the next step would be kind of go knock on the door and then possibly issue a full-blown enforcement order. So I'll let you.
Yep, I can take care of that, that's not a problem. We all thought at this point that property would already be built.
Yeah, it stopped. The other last enforcement we had was, well, I had a complaint of illegal parking at 17 Pierview. We investigated it. There is no illegal parking. Nothing in the conservation's jurisdiction, no action taken. I responded to the complainant, the person complaining, and as far as I'm concerned, it's done. We also had a complaint about cutting behind the Elliott building in the utility right-of-way. We've had several complaints on that property with that trash being dumped, mattresses, just all sorts of things. And in fact, the DEP actually contacted us with a complaint. We contacted National Grid. They have come and cleaned that all up. So I just need to close that with the DEP. But they came in, cleaned that right away up, got rid of all the trash, everything that was dumped there. All right, let's go back to request for extension of order of conditions, file 061-0741, a 23 kV underground cable replacement from Mass Electric / National Grid. We did walk this down. Most of the work is complete. They have just a little bit of work left on the end connections. But Mass Electric's asking for a 3-year extension just to be on the safe side. Everything looked fine, and my recommendation is we approve that and issue them a 3-year extension. So
Quick question for you.
Yep.
Did they say why it needed to be extended? Just
So
COVID?
it's a really big project, and I assume they had lots of issues during COVID also.
Makes sense. Just curious.
They're almost done with the portion that's in Revere, but not quite. And they can't finish it up in Revere until they get the other portion done in the other jurisdiction. So that was it. So entertain a motion to approve this order of extension? This
Motion.
extension?
Second that motion?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. So Suffolk Downs, we received requests for 7 certificates of compliance. I'm not sure why it got broken up into so many pieces, but anyways, the first one is they had submitted and received an order to do the demolition of the horse racing facilities. That's complete. They're gone. We walked that down. We saw that. My recommendation would be to issue the certificate compliance there. The same thing for, they installed a bus stop and a turnaround on Tomaseo Drive. That's complete and has been in place. So my recommendation also is to approve that certificate of compliance. And then 0610736, they received in different order of conditions, 0773, that kind of supersedes 736. It's for the same work, but with some additional scope. So they want to, and when we approved 773 in their write-up, they had talked about they would be coming back to get 736 closed because this one supersedes. So they want to kind of close that out. We still have jurisdiction under 773. So my recommendation is to issue the certificate of compliance for that also. Any questions on those? We did do the site visit this weekend. Toby was there, Joe was there, Lorena was there, so. All right, so I entertain a motion to approve all three of those.
I'll make that motion.
All right, need a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay. Finishing up, you guys see the correspondence, site visits. Our next meeting is the first Wednesday in August. Let me just make sure. So our next meeting is August 2nd. So we will have at least one site visit scheduled for July 29th. Also at the August 2nd meeting, we'll need to, as part of our rules and bylaws, vote for the chair and the vice chair positions. That year is up, and they would take effect in September. So those are the things coming up. Anything anyone wants to discuss?
Just on the correspondence, I saw that there was an email about a garage being taken down that wasn't on the agenda.
Right.
Is that?
They haven't submitted the request for determination of applicability to us yet to schedule it. So I was, that's part of what I get. I get a lot of requests like that.
Yeah.
And we try and help and guide them, depending on who it is, through the process. I don't do it with contractors, but if it's residents, citizens, we provide them a lot more help.
Makes sense.
So I do this over and over again, almost got a template type of email with all the attachments and walking them through it. The thing that took time, I think, was putting the schedule down on if they want to have us at the August 2nd meeting, here's the timeline they have to meet. So, any other questions? All right. I don't have anything. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.